Alright, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, a very special good evening to everyone. This is myself, as usual, Shabnam from the code Ark, aiming to deliver many technologies to people, in fact, everyone in the world out there. Okay, I hope we are audible and visible to everyone. Yes, we are live now. Was that fine? Okay, some settings are messing up here. Yeah, correct, fine. So first of all, let me let you know that today is day 14 of our Python Django SQL series and the day 52 of our overall full stack web development bootcamp. Okay, let's have a quick recap of what we have learned in the class last time. We were talking about the functions in Python and the different topics related to function. All clear. Okay, thank you. Fine, alright, fine, good. Right, so we were talking about the functions. It's a way of writing code once and reusing it many times, right? Unfortunately, for some reason we could not meet 2 days of the week last week, so let's see whatever we could connect to and cover up from today onwards. Okay, fine. The class today is for list comprehension and the Lambda functions, as we have already mentioned in the title. But before that, I would like to cover up a small topic yet remaining from function, that is how to deal with functions when passing sequences or iterables as an argument. Okay, there are some more topics related to functions yet left to be done, like how to pass any number of arguments or arbitrary arguments, fixed arguments and arbitrary argument. We have one complete class again coming up only for function, known as higher order functions in Python. Therein we are going to connect all those missing topics from the class of function. Okay, fine. This small topic we are learning in the beginning because this is going to be useful to us in the upcoming class today. Fine. So spending first 5 minutes in one of the left topic of function. After that we will start with the list comprehension in Python. Okay, fine. By the way, meanwhile, I would like you all to please comment us in the chat section. How is the practice at your end going on? Number one. Number two, are you working upon the practice questions that we are regularly sharing after each class? Alright, are you facing some problems in it? So on and so forth. Okay, so here we go. ठीक है, fine. Alright, day 14 python.py. Okay, fine. So this is how we had created the functions in Python using the keyword def for define. Okay, say I want to create a function called as add. This function is going to receive two arguments as x and y, and it is simply going to print the sum of x and y. Okay, fine. Function definition and the function call are the two processes function is split up into. So this was the function definition. Let me call this function add by simply passing two numbers 5 and 6, and if I could run this overall code, good, so it prints me an output that is 11. Okay, but the concept today is, what if the numbers to be added were not just 2? I wanted to pass as an argument that is entire list, alright, or maybe entire set, or maybe entire dictionary, or maybe an entire tuple. Fine, so let's quickly have a look at it. Say A is my list, and this contains certain number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me modify the same function. This is add. This is going to accept only one argument, x, but this time x is an argument which is going to be the list. Okay, so let me write it as a comment here. Okay, the function is expecting a list in argument. Okay, now whenever I will call add function, whenever I am going to call add function, this is going to work this way. Not 5 and 6, but I'm going to pass as an argument a. Students, I'm going to pass as an argument a, and a is nothing but a list of numbers. Okay, fine. So this time how it is going to add this individual elements of the list exactly the way. Just recall, how have we used for loop to run over list or any other iterable? Okay, so let me say for I in X. Is that okay? For each I in X. Now X is no one but A. For I in X, let me take some temporary variable here. Say sum. Okay, okay, fine. That will work because name of the function is add. Right? So let me say sum is equal to sum plus I. Yeah, of course, you can write it in a shorthand method as sum plus equal to I. Both of them are one and the same. Correct? Come on, let me repeat the definition one more time. This is a list that is A. My function add is not expecting any number or string as an argument. This time it is expecting an entire list as an argument. I hope you're getting that. Fine. So when I say add A, means when I'm calling this function add, I'm passing the list here who is A. Now because X has received an entire list A in it, to add individual elements of X, that is A, I need to run a for loop over it. Is that okay? That means for each I in X, the first I in X is going to be 1. The second I in X is going to be 2. The third I in X is going to be 3. Fourth I in X is going to be 4. And the last I in X is going to be 5. Okay, so initially sum was 0, 0 plus 1. Am I right? 1. 1 plus 2, that is 3. 3 plus 3, that is 6, and so on. Right? Okay, lastly, either you make this function to return sum or print sum. That's your choice. I am making it to return sum. Okay, now because this function is returning something, when you're calling the function, make sure that you're receiving in some variable on the left side. All that I need to do is just print what have I received as an output or a value from the function call. Is that okay? Fine. Alright, let me run this all. Fine. So the result is nothing but 15. 15 is the sum of each of these individual elements from the list. Okay, so this way, if A was not a list, say if A was a set, okay, A is a set of say some names or something. So let me say cat, dog and cow. Okay, let me change the name of the variable, say B, and say I have made a function which will say display the names, and I'm receiving some value in X, but this time function is expecting an argument that is a set. Okay, so let me say for each I in X, I just want to print I. Is that okay? That means I just want to print the individual elements in the set. Is that fine? Okay, so every time you create a set, to print who are the members or elements of the set, I simply call the function that is display by passing B, or whoever is the set, the variable name. Fine, let me see the piece of code works or not. Fine, so this is how it is displayed. Is that correct? Fine. Take it. Had it been a tuple, let us experiment one last thing. Say T is a tuple of 3 numbers, 10, 20, 30. 10, 20 and 30. Is that okay? And I want the product of each of this number, like 20 into 10, that is 200. 200 into 30, that is 6000. Is that okay? Fine. So let's see how to do that. This is my tuple. So I create a function, and this function is expecting an argument that is a set or a tuple. Is that okay? I'm expecting a tuple. In case if it receives a list, it will act as a list. In case if it receives a set, it will behave as a set. Alright, fine. So for I in each of this X, so let me say for each I in X, let me take a variable before I could start this function. Say product is equals to 1 Let me not keep it 0 this time, because this is not the case of sum. This is the case of a product, and I know very well, in fact you also know very well, anything multiplied by 0 is going to give me the final product also 0. So let's keep it 1, and every time we'll update this product by multiplying it with I. Yes, you can also write this as a shorthand method of asterisk into or asterisk equal to I, which is almost equal to the same expression. Is that okay? I hope you got my point. Fine. So okay, this function has not yet been called. It's not been called yet. So let me call this function product, but this time passing t. Okay. Fine. So this time passing t. I think it's not displaying anything because we are not printing anything. So let me either make this function to return or to print product. Alright, fine. I think it's giving me an indentation error, if you could see, because this neither lies in the block of for nor it lies in the block of function. So let me take it a space behind, and the problem is solved. Is that okay? Indentation is a big problem in Python code, people. You need to be very clear and very particular about it. Fine. So this function which has been created to accept a tuple, fine. So that is 6000 as we calculated. Now suppose instead of tuple, if I would have passed here a, okay, in a function call I didn't pass a tuple here. In fact I passed a. Now who is this guy a? A is a list, am I right? Could you roughly tell me what will be the product of each of these 5? 1 into 2, 2, 2 3s are 6, 6 4s are 24, and 24 into 5, that's 120. Okay, fine. So if I could run this, let me run this line of code. Okay, so that's giving me 120. So this was intentionally to be executed in front of you, indicating it doesn't make sense here whether you are passing a tuple or a list. Of course, but the operation what you have coded in the function must be common to both. I hope you understood what I said. Like, you are trying to add the numbers, but the list contain all the strings, so that won't be an addition, that will result into unnecessary concatenation. Am I right? You are trying to, the function is trying to maybe find the products of all the elements, but list contain again all the string, and the product of string could be a weird output. Is that okay? Fine. So what are you passing to the function in argument, and what function is actually expecting, that really matters upon the definition of the function. Is that okay? Particularly the for I in x. Can you explain the loop, ma'am? Which loop, Naveen? This one. I think we have already done this in the loops part. If you have remembered, we can use for loops for different sequences as well. If this is the doubt not only of Naveen and of others also, please let me know in the chat section how to use for loops over iterables, like how to use for loop in dictionary, how to use for loop in set and all. Then I will explain here in between. Otherwise, Naveen, to you I'll clear a doubt in the end of the session. Is it fine? Take it. So this was the small topic that we covered up, leftover topic from function. How to make, students, please pay attention, how to make function accept an argument that is an iterable, which is not a single number or a single string or a number and a string or a boolean number string. Instead, it is expecting or demanding a complete iterable or a sequence to be passed. Is that okay? Like a function demanding a tuple as an argument, function demanding a list as an argument, or even a dictionary as an argument. Is that okay to all of us? Clear? Fine. That's all. Now, beginning with our duty of the day today. Fine. The topic that we are learning today is a little tricky topic. You can consider it as a concept of a little advanced Python. Right, so you might take time to grasp it. In case if you cannot, please rewatch our videos as many times as you can till the time you learn it. But this is very important. Sometimes this also forms a interview question as a GDPI topics as well in many of the places. So let's go ahead. This is what we are learning today. List comprehension. Then what are lambda functions? Okay, and how to create a lambda function? If time permit, I'll go to the last point mentioned here also, second last, that is lambda inside another function. If not, we'll continue from here again tomorrow. Okay, fine. So 20 minutes of the class already gone. Please, let's start for the day today with a new topic. Okay, list comprehension. People, this is a facility provided in Python to create list in a shorthand way. Okay, when I say shorthand means what? Shortcut. Okay, list बनाने का एक shortcut तरीका है. Those who understand Hindi, this is for them. An easy way to express list comprehension. List बनाने का एक shortcut तरीका होता है, which otherwise if you would use the syntax of for loop and all, that would make you to write lines of code. Whereas in list comprehension, we can create a list with just one line of code. You got my point? One or max to max maybe 2 lines in some cases. So ideally, to create a list in some cases, what takes 10 to 20 lines of code, list comprehension is a facility, a technique, solution provided by Python to create some favorable list in a very short way by writing a small code. Yeah, sometimes it seems to be a little hard also, sometimes it seems tough, because see guys, I tell you one thing, look, coding, what's coding? Coding is not always our ability to write the code and run the logic. Coding also means our written code should, some other programmer must be able to understand. Number 2, we also should be able to understand somebody else's written code. Okay, so all these definition together makes coding. Okay, just writing a program, forming a logic, getting an output is not learning to code. Our ability to read somebody else's code and understand is also a part of coding. Okay, so it might happen you may never use list comprehension in your entire career, but you should be still able to understand if the syntax somehow comes in front of you. Okay, so here we go. Okay, here we go. After I spoke you so many things. Okay, this is my teaching pointers for the day today. I'm sorry for that. Okay, fine. Right, so these are some points that I already spoke to you. List comprehension in Python, it's a compact way of creating a list from a sequence. Now friends, when I say a sequence can be anything, like a string, a list itself, it could be a tuple, okay, it could be a dictionary, or it could be a set. All these are nothing but we call it as a sequence. Okay, so now if you could read it second time, it's a compact way. People, compressed, compact, you understand compact, right? Chota, patla, kam se kam, narrow. A compact way to create a list out of the sequence, right? For example, say this is a list. Say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Now out of this list, I want to create a list which will contain only even numbers from this. I know very well the even numbers here are 2, 4, 8 and 10. So actually to create another list, say list of even numbers, list of even numbers, say let me create a blank list first, and then I'll be making a loop to run over it, say for I in. Okay, say this is a numbers. Okay, for I in number. Okay, and I check the condition. If I is divisible by 2, then only even numbers, which is a blank list right now, is equals to even numbers dot append, or just let me write even numbers dot append. Okay, that particular I. Is that okay? That particular I. So if this is a list of available numbers, now this entire piece of code is struggling to find. Come on, right from here, look my selected part. This 3-4 lines of code is struggling to find out who are the even numbers in this list and put it into another list. Okay, so that's what comprehension promises you there is a short way to create a new list out of this, and this is going to be considerably faster also than processing an ordinary for loop. Yeah, we should follow the coding standards, Rajiguru, you're right. Okay, but coding standards in fact sometimes differ from person to person. Let's see how. Okay, so it is a short method, it's a faster one rather than processing the for loop. Eventually you still will have to process the for loop. Even in list comprehension, eventually you will still have to process the for loop, but you look how. This is how it works. Syntax of list comprehension. Say for I, okay, I. For I in iterable. Skip the if expression right now because this is optional. Okay, this is optional as of now. We are going to use list comprehension with if conditions also, but first let us understand the syntax without if expression. Clear? Right, now this entire thing, firstly if you could see, is written in a square bracket, means a list is getting created out of this output. Correct? आप देखोगे तो ये पूरा एक्सप्रेशन, ये पूरा सिंटैक्स ऑफ कोड वी हैव रिटन इट इन स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट. दैट मीन्स द लिस्ट इज गेटिंग क्रिएटेड इनसाइड अ स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट. Right, now this small piece of code, the syntax is almost equal to write this way: for I in any iterable. I told you already up, sequence is an iterable. It could be a list, it could be a string, it could be anything. For I in iterable, print I. Okay, so this two lines of code we have written in a compact way like this, right? So this is like if you write just I means print I for every I in an iterable. Okay guys, if people have understood my comparison between the two syntax of code, would be glad if you can acknowledge us in the chat section. ये इतना स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट में सिंटैक्स लिखना लगभग ये 2 लाइन ऑफ कोड लिखने के बराबर है. Okay, so print I for each I in the iterable, right? Print I. So example number 1. Okay, say you want to change a string to a list, that is to a list of characters. For example, this is my string, that is Python. If you check the type of variable Python, that is going to give you string only. For example, let's take this way: language is equals to Python. Pay attention please. Understood? Thank you everyone, thank you. Now suppose if I say print the data type of language. Okay, so it tells me it is string. Is that okay? Now suppose I want to convert the above string into list of characters. Convert this string into list of characters. So first method is simple. Okay, say let me take a new list or new language. Okay, is equal to list into language. So this is nothing but a typecasting, correct? Come on. So now if you could say print what is new language. Yep, so that is nothing but that entire string got converted into the list of characters. Am I right? Come on, ये पूरा string has got converted into list of characters. So this is one method. This is one method. Now if you could check my method number 2, see how compact you would find it. Okay, how compact you will find it. Okay, this is list, that is my new variable, and in this list consider I for every I in language. For example, those who did not understand, for I in lang, who is lang? Lang is a variable holding string Python, correct? So for I in this language or lang, variable lang, if I simply say you print I, what will be the output of these 2 lines of code? Come on, these 2 lines only we are going to write in a compact way now. The same 2 lines we are going to push in a compact way now. But first execute these 2 lines. Okay, so even that is returning to me an individual character from the string, right? The only difference is instead of pushing or printing displaying this output on the screen, vomiting output on the screen, we would rather like to pack this output in a list, right? So how would you do that? So let me take new list is equal to, okay, is equal to I for I in language. Alright, I for I in language. And if you could print this, I say print new list. So that is almost the same output achieved as against writing this 2-3 lines of code up. Am I right? All of us are checking the data type, or maybe converting it into typecasting it and then again printing it. Is that okay? All of us, yeah, fine. So for I, or let me say print I or include I for those I in the variable language. Clear? Fine. Okay, so this was one example. Take another one. This is very interesting for those who did not get the meaning of the first one. Ye wala dekhiye. Suppose you want to generate a list of numbers. Say I want to generate numbers from 1 to 10 and put it in a list. What is an ordinary way you will write a code for that? Okay, say there is a list called as C and it's a blank list. Right? I want this list to have numbers from 1 to 10. So for I in range 1 to 10, I'm writing 11 so that 10 could be considered. In this case you could have skipped the lower limit because default would be 0 then. Okay, if you skip the lower limit, the default will be 0. That's the reason I'm writing it. Okay. So what do I do? Say C dot append I. Am I right? Let's print this 2-3 lines of code. Okay. And if I could say simply print C. Fine. So this is how finally C could be printed. No, but now help me to write this 2 or maybe 3 lines counting from here. This 3 lines of code help me to write in a compact way using list comprehension. Quick. Using list comprehension. Let's take another variable D. D should contain I for each of those I in range 1 to 10 or 1 to 11. Are you understanding what are we doing? Okay, and simply if I could print D, yep, so I think these are the two same outputs, right? And we could minimize the lines of code using list comprehension. That's the reason what it promises in the definition. It's a compact way of creating a list. Understood? Rather than running longer and processing these for loops, right? So what these 3 lines of code actually achieved above, using list comprehension we are able to do it or achieve it in just single 1 line of syntax. Is that okay? No Navin, no, that logic would be wrong. Okay, वो logic wrong हो जाएगा. In case if somebody else is also following the comment section, that you can't say typecasting is equals to list comprehension. Okay, not always. That could be one application, that could be one way, but not always typecasting is a list comprehension. You look, where am I typecasting here? Am I right? Navin and others also of my friends who are attending the class, where are we typecasting here? My line number 52 which is currently highlighted, is there any typecasting, friends, happening there? No. We are just generating numbers in the range of 1 to 10, and these generated numbers we are inserting in a list, that is D, correct? Okay, Shreyas is asking, ma'am, can you explain new list? I am getting invalid syntax error. So you need to post your error here in the comments so that I could troubleshoot it. See, new list. Okay, look. What is first of all new list? For I in language, it is converting characters into, or let me say string into the list of character, correct? Fine. So this is my variable language, and it is containing Python. Let me copy it and paste it here again so that we don't have to scroll up. Okay, this is Shreyas's doubt. So this is my variable lang language that stores a string Python. For I in language, instead of printing that I, we are pushing that I in a list. Am I right? include I. Come on, you could read this way in this syntax of list comprehension, include I, but then who is I, by who is I? This is what we have defined it here. Am I right? This is what we have defined it here. If I put a question mark, list, new list is going to contain I. Are bhai, what is the definition of I? Okay, so here we are answering this question. Come on, here we are answering this question. Okay, I is individual element of the language. Is that okay? Can we use comprehension for other sequences also, ma'am? Yes, Jyoti, of course. If the time permit today and I could reach, we are using here list comprehension for dictionaries as well. Okay, so that choice is yours. Okay, but of course, yeah, not to create, but in some other way. Okay, let me come to this point in a very clear meaning. Okay, all right. Fine, Shiraz, if this question is solved, I'm going ahead. If a doubt is clear, and if you're still getting a syntax error, please check for indentation or post to me here in the chat section. Alright, all of us here? Fine. Okay, let's go ahead. It is also possible to do some mathematical operations during operation. Guys, I'm raising our standard one more level high now. Every time in the list comprehension, we were simply printing or including I of the loop. But this time, I'm doing some mathematical operations upon each I. Okay, for example, say this is my list. This is a list. Say this is a list of numbers. And the numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want a new list which is going to store the squares of each of this number. Okay, square. So let me say the new list is new numbers. Let us first try to achieve this without list comprehension quick. It hardly takes 10 seconds of time to write the code. For I in numbers, okay, for I in numbers, let me take a variable called as A. A is equals to I into I. Okay, that means I'm squaring each I. And I say new numbers dot append that particular A. Yeah, you wanted, you could have simply written I into I here as well. Since I wanted my code to be very clear to explain, that's the reason I first squared and then inserting the square or result of the square in the blank list. Are you getting it? Okay, somebody who could please acknowledge, is that clear? What am I doing it? Finally, just print this new numbers, which is going to contain the squares of the existing number. Okay, I run this code quick. Okay, so my new list contains 1, 4, 9, 16 and 25, who are the squares of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 respectively, correct? Is that right? But people, the same thing if you do it with list comprehension syntax, believe me, that's going to be just one line of code instead of writing this 2-3 lines of code unnecessary. Right from line 56 to 59, let us see how to write in just one line syntax with the help of list comprehension. Come on, those who have understood, kindly help me. I take another list called as a new numbers again. Okay, new numbers again. And this time, first what we have learned, tell me, what if it has to contain every numbers from numbers? It's say I for I in numbers. Am I right? Let's run the code till here first. And if I say print new numbers again, okay, print new numbers again. So okay, it is printing the list as it is, because whatever exists in numbers, I'm as all printing, including or counting in new numbers, right? So when you have to do numerical expression, you just have to write I into I. Okay, so instead of printing I as it is from numbers into new numbers again, we are squaring I from numbers. Hello, look here please. We are squaring this I from numbers and including it new numbers again. Okay, yes, I for I in numbers. Exactly, I think Navin was right there up. Okay, Rajiguru, not I. How it could be just I? It should be I into I, right? It should be I into I. So if I could print this, I think my Visual Studio Code is again responding slow. That's the reason output is taking time. Yup. So this is the expected output. Each number being squared inside new numbers again. Friends, are you getting it? Come on, can you imagine, can you just imagine this 4 lines of code in a compact way, right from line 56 till line 59. Okay, we actually achieved in just one line, that is line number 62. Am I right? You have to compare, people, my highlighted areas right from line 56 50 to 59. Those 4 lines of code is actually achieved using just one line, 3-4 lines, whatever. Okay, so same way like if I wanted, I could have made a list of tuples as well. These are just my experiments. You can try other mathematical operations. Like I want output this way: 0, list of tuples. Friends, if you could see what this one line of code is going to produce an output: 0 whose square is also 0, 1 whose square is 1, 2 whose square is 4, 3 whose square is 9, this way 5 whose square is 25. And if you could see this time how the list comprehension is working, okay, we are using numerical expressions as well as the output we are converting it or writing it in the form of a tuple. Is that okay? All of us, let me quickly code this part so that you understand it well. Okay, so let me say there's a new list again, or let me call this list as Z. Z is equal to, it's going to contain tuple of I with its partner who is going to be the square of I. Getting it? I is with its partner standing in the tuple who is a square of I. But then this code is going to ask you what is the definition of I, who is this Mr. I, and what is my answer here? Please go find I in this range. Please go find I in a particular iterable. Please go find I in some list. Please go find I in some set or a string. Are you getting that? So whatever is answer to this question, please write it as a code for each of this I. Now I don't have a list here. I'm using a range. Say range of 1 to 10 or 0 to 10. Okay. So if this runs successfully, let me print Z. Let me print Z. Good, cool. Is that okay? Cool, good. So what if I wanted to print with its square and its cube also? I simply write here I also, I into I into I, and so on. Yes, you can even use some mathematical formulae like POV or POW, power and all, and so on. Okay, I think I made some mistake here. Cool, it goes on. And if I could print this, it's taking time. Good. Is it okay? So this is the tuple containing number with the square of the number as well as the cube of the number. I hope you're understanding. Otherwise, to write this code and achieve this output as a list to be created, how difficult it would be. If not difficult, how lengthy it would be, correct? Right? So the correct word is not difficult here, but it's going to be really lengthy. Is that okay, all of us? Okay. Rakesh, Navin, Jyoti, Rajiguru, Shreyas, Ramchandra, and the other names that I could read here. I hope people are understanding. All my other friends also. Right. Fine. Okay. So let me see what other examples I have jotted today. Good. Now this is something what we left optional up. I hope you remembered I strike this part out. इफ एक्सप्रेशन उसके सिंटैक्स में से हमने स्ट्राइक कर दिया था ये बोलकर that is optional. But no, this time what if I want to print I or include I only on the basis of some condition? Pretty cool. Thank you for that. Good if you're understanding. Okay, so now you tell me, come on, this time we'll go ulta, हम थोड़ा अलग जाते हैं. Let me show you the code first, then you tell me what it could be doing. Okay, so this is I. Ignore the case here, please. I. How to read this in list comprehension? Means include I in the list. Okay, of course there is no print or return behind I to make meaning more clear. So this list is going to include all those I which is in the range. Since it is 21 written, that means it's going to work from 0 to 20, correct? It is going to include all those I who is in the range of 0 to 21, but provided if that I is divisible by 2. Understood? And if I cut this part, suppose if I do not write the if condition, I am creating a list of numbers from 0 to 20. You all agree with me? Do you agree with me? Suppose if I do not write the if condition there, that means you are creating a list using list comprehension to include the numbers from 0 to 20. I hope you are understanding it. So, but this time when I put the condition, no, it's not from 0 to 20, but only those i's who are divisible by 2. Right? So, similarly, if you want to create a list of all the odd numbers, so if I divide by 2 and if it is remainder is not equal to 0, so that's going to be the condition. Let's try to have our hands on, please, on this. Can we write in dictionary, ma'am? Answer is no, Navin. Okay, you can't create dictionary using this compact way because the title itself is a list comprehension. Okay, what you can do is you can use dictionary in the loop here instead. जैसे कि यहाँ पर अगर मैंने लिखा होता, okay, say instead of range I'm writing here ABC. Okay, so this way dictionary can participate in a list comprehension. You can't create a dictionary out of list comprehension. Right? Somebody who asked me above also, that is what I wanted to say you that time. Okay, fine. I'll come to this point. I have written this example in the my teaching pointers for the day today. Fine. So till then have patience. By the time we practically execute it. Is that okay to all of us? This is giving me error because there is no ABC existing here. Okay, so let me change this code and write what it was originally present. Okay, we call it list comprehension. We do not call it as a dictionary comprehension or any sequence comprehension. Is that all right? All of us here? Fine. Chaliye. So let us say I have a list of some numbers. Again, defining A. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay. Now I want to create a list of even numbers, so let me directly use the list comprehension. Say even numbers. This is going to contain all those I who are in A. Am I right? Who are in A, but all the i's who are in A is right from 1 to 10. Am I right? What happened here for I? Okay, I missed this part. Okay, for I in A. Is that okay? But this time I want just those i's who are divisible by 2. So simply write the condition here. If that particular I on dividing by 2 is going to give me the remainder 0. Is that fine? All of us. Okay, let me simultaneously print also even numbers. Okay, that's giving me some error. Object is not iterable. Okay, just a moment please. Okay, instead of this A, if I could change the name ABC. Okay, 1 minute. I run line number 70 and I run line number 71. Okay. The reason why, because I think where is my A up? For those who understood what went wrong, in case if you understood what went wrong here, this is A. I don't know whether A consistent. Okay, fine, never mind. Okay, it's important that it is working right now. Okay, so let me print this even numbers. Okay. Yeah, simply fine. So 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. Is that okay? Glad. If anybody who is working here with me, are you getting these outputs or not? Right. So what if I use comparison operator not equal to and run it? That means it's going to return me all the odd numbers, right? 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. So you can see how the life is being made easy. Correct? You can even use the logical operators here, guys. आप इधर logical operators भी use कर सकते हो, like and or. For example, the number should be divisible by 3 and the number should be divisible by 5. Is there any such number here? No such number, right? It should be divisible by 3 also, and the number should be divisible by 5 also. So let me include some numbers like that. Say 15, 30. Okay, now these two guys are divisible by 3 as well as 5. Correct? So let me run this code. And this time I want my list comprehension to contain all those i's who are divisible by 3 and guys and also divisible by 5. Are you understanding here? Okay, getting ma'am, but I used range. Okay, noted. Fine. Friends, well, how about this one? Include I for I in ABC, but provided that I is divisible by 3 and I is divisible by 5. So this part which was entirely optional to write the if conditions, the part which was an entirely optional, this time we have used along with the logical operation, correct? Let's see what output it gives. It gives also or not? It runs also or not? I mean, does it allow also or not? Yes, cool. That means there are only 2 such numbers who satisfies the criteria. Okay, don't we put colon after for, ma'am? No, Jyoti, no. Okay, any reason for this question? The answer that I gave, our friend Jyoti Rubini is asking, after for, why don't you put colon here? Okay, why don't you put colon after for? First of all, that would be a syntax error, and even if it gives an output, that doesn't make sense. Okay, but what is the reason we are not putting colon? Okay, let me answer you, because we are left here only with 8 minutes more. First of all, colon indicates block. Are you getting it? First of all, colon indicate block, and after colon, indentation becomes compulsory. Okay, now since we are not giving any indentation here, we don't want which line comes after which block. It's pretty clear to understand this entire is a for loop, so there is no need of colons. Is that okay? Fine. So no indentation, no need of colon. Is that okay? No indentation, no need of colon. So unnecessarily do not include the colon and increase the length of the code. That's what I want to say. Good question. Is it fine? Okay, so let me come back into my teaching pointer. Fine. Odd numbers done. Filter out the positive even numbers. Okay, good. Positive even numbers. So the condition is this one. The number should be divisible by 2, and also the number should be greater than 0. Is that okay? Ma'am, so we can combine loop and expression condition in one line. Yes, you can. That's what. Okay, Shreya, you're right. Fine. You can combine the loops and conditions in just one line. That's a shorthand way of writing. Okay. Even JavaScript at one extent, in one point, even JavaScript could do that. but the flexibility in Python is more as compared to JavaScript. Fine, ठीक है. Now this part I have taken it, but it's up to you whether you understand or you will use it in a code. ऐसा काम हम कभी कोडिंग में करेंगे, चांसेस कम है. But as I told you, coding not only mean we should be able to write a program. Coding also mean we should be able to understand somebody else's written code. Is that okay? Fine. So if you could see how I'm flattening a 3-dimensional array or a 2-dimensional array into 1D array. Okay. For example, you see this is my list whose name is list of list, and it contains 3 lists inside. Now suppose if I want to print individual element of these, how would you write the code? Come on. Right? Assume we have not learned list comprehension today. To print individual element of that list, आप कैसे code लिखोगे? Quick. Say A is equals to, the first list inside this is 1, 2, 3. The second list is 4, 5, 6. Third one is 7, 8, 9. Okay, now suppose I write like this: for I in A, say print I. Okay, for I in A, I want to print I. What is an expected output? What's an expected output? Yup, like this. But it is still in the form of list. I still want them to be flattened as an individual element. So I think I'll have to use 2 loops, right? For I in A and for, let me take some other variable like j or k, for j in I. Now I know the first I is 1, 2, 3. Now the first j in I is going to be 1. Next j in this I is going to be 2. Third j in this I is going to be 3. In the second iteration of the outer loop, I is going to be 4, 5, 6. So the first j in this I is going to be 4. Second j in this I is going to be 5. Third j in this I is going to be 6. And the last I, that means in the outer loop, the last iteration is going to hold I as 7, 8, 9. So the first j in this I is going to be 7, second j is going to be 8, the third j is going to be 9. Correct? So j is finally holding individual elements in each list of list, correct? So if I could say print j, and I run this 3-4 lines of code. Okay, I run these lines of code. So this is an expected output: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, but I want a list, say B, which is actually going to hold individual elements, a flattened. Okay, flattened means no 1D, no 2D, no 3D element. This is actually a 2D list, am I right? Or a 3D list, let me say. It's a 3-dimensional list. Okay, so how will you do that? Come on. So actually you are printing the last thing, that is j, right? So we want here j to be included. But who is this j? J is an element for each I, and I is in each A, correct? Or each I. So let me start from here. Say for I in A, my friend, for I in A, and if you could look into my teaching pointer here. Okay, I think I have not here used I and j, so let me come back to our code only. For j in I. Okay, there I think I have used some other variable names, which is nothing but equal to say our only. Interpret. So this is, look how for loop inside for loop we are using. So how will it process? Come on. For I in A, give me the dry run. Now when you say for I in A, what is going to be the first I? First I is going to be 1, 2, 3. Am I right? And for j in that I, come on, for j in that particular I. So what is the value of j now? In the first loop, the value of j will be 1. In the second loop, the value of j will be 2. In the third loop, the value of j is going to be 3. So what are we including in B is actually j, correct? is actually j. Hoping people understanding. Correct. So let me first run this code, ensuring it is working or not. Okay, let me print b. Cool. So this is how the b is working. Am I right? Yes, Jyoti, you can. That part, that is right. Okay, if I this, I hope you got my point. Else I something else. So that if part could be extended with else condition. Fine, Jyoti, that could be done. If time permit, I will myself write the code and run here. Good. All of us here. Fine. So you could see, instead of making this part so complicated, और एक चीज और आप देखोगे तो, see, list comprehension is also avoiding those rules of indentation here. Am I right? So we don't have to follow any indentation because all this code has been written in a single line. All of us here, everybody, fine. Okay, so this is how we are doing it. Fine. We could again not complete what we were supposed to do today. We could even not complete. The entire part of lambda function is left to be done. Pura lambda ka part baki. This is 15 to 20 minute topic. So what I will do tomorrow, first we'll complete lambda because that's important one. Then I will go to complete the leftover function, arbitrary arguments and all. Only if these two topics are completed who are still pending, we will go with the next topic, that is higher order functions. Okay, make sure that you're attending here. Attending the live classes, asking the doubts makes a difference than you watching it in my absence. Okay, fine. All right. If you could see, I have written some syntax. I'm sorry, this one. Questions for the day today. Okay, filter only negative and 0 in the list using list comprehension. So only the numbers who are negatives and zeros should come in a new list. Fine. Flatten this list to a 1D list. I think you can do it easily now. This is the same question. Okay. Using list comprehension, create the following tuples. Now this require logic. You see, how would you be able to do? All these tuples we want. Find the relationship between these numbers, like why 2, then why after 2 there is 1, then how come 2 again? Okay, how come this tuple is created? How come this tuple got created? Try to find out the relationship between these numbers. Okay, then finally we have the two, again we have a list of list, you see. This is a list of list. Okay, containing 2 names inside each list as a tuple. And what you want is change the list of list to a list of concatenated string. It's little tricky. Come on, give your hands on. Try whether you can do it or not. Okay, try whether you can do it or not. Like the final output should be one list with concatenated string. Raj Kumar, David Smith, Donald Trump and Bill Gates. Okay, this file shall be sharing you right after the class today. Okay, ma'am, why do we need 2 loop variables? Will it store like a matrix? Actually, yes. You understood? We are using 2 loop because it's really working in a 2D or a 3D array. Okay, Shiraz, remind me this question tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be having some time, good time to talk to. So, those people whose question I could not solve today, ma'am, again explain 2 loops and all. Allow me to excuse for the day today. I make sure that tomorrow when I start a class, I'll start with this point only. Why do we use 2 loops with a good dry run? Okay, 5 p.m. to 5:10 p.m. tomorrow, I'll demonstrate the use of loop inside loop. Why do we do that? I thought you would be aware after writing pattern programs. Okay, so my friends who don't know why do we use 2 loops, try to code some pattern based program like all asterisk and all. Remembered? Fine. You also keep it done from your end. So tomorrow, right when I start the class, we will first discuss this point only. Why to use 2 loops and loop inside a loop. Right? Okay. Fine. So this question I'll answer tomorrow without fail. Due to some time constraint, we have a connected class. I need to wind off. Okay. Fine. So the tomorrow's schedule, what we are going to learn, it's quite clear to you. We'll be first completing all the pending topics of today's and the last class. After that, we will be moving on to higher order functions. उसके बाद में we will be starting a 2 to 3 connected classes of object oriented programming in Python. That's a damn important topic when full stack is considered. Is that okay? Fine. Goodbye. Have a nice day ahead.